No, not really. That title was a clickbait. Come on, even when I say my opinion can be wrong, I'm pretty sure many people who are teachers agree that, as a student and follower, Genos shows super qualities to learn, adapt, and assist his instructor. No, I'm not a teacher. I was just guessing. You know what? I won't even say Saitama is a great instructor at first. He slowly becomes one though, but definitely an inspiring figure of adoration for the boy. Welcome to We Know Anime, and today I'm not here to talk about Saitama as a teacher. That will be for another video in the future. Now, it's time to sim for our genocide boy. Genos. Well, you know how willingly he is to self-destruct himself in tough battles? First thing first, it should be noted that his activeness makes him a highly independent follower. Initially, his activeness in learning led him to follow Saitama and sign up as a student. The guys just want to improve, and he adores powerful people so much that he asks a stranger, whose snake and look pretty damn bizarre to my normie eyes by the way, to teach him how to become stronger. I would say his ambitions were kinda limited before he met Saitama, as he didn't care about many aspects of being a fighter aside from the pursuit of skill in order to avenge an enemy that's caused his tragic childhood. In a way, Genos looked even more relevant to a shonen character than Saitama, but since he's a parody manga, everything is bent for comedic purposes and so is the flaming spirit of the secondary protagonist. It's funny how a cool-looking cyborg with a look that can kill became so humble and attentive to a person he just newly met. Nevertheless, it makes sense and is a great introduction for Genos, because the scenes alone portray his mindset quite vividly. He looks up to fighter with strengths and doesn't really give a fuck about what or how the strength holder represent themselves. Heck, Saitama can look like a super-duper normie among normies for what he cares, and he will still adore the gods if he's strong and has a great sense of fighting monster. You know what I find impressive about him the most? His awareness of exchange. In this case, the exchange of money for knowledge. Nothing is free, eh? Most importantly, he provides Saitama a proper job in the middle of the abandoned city Z, where the economy doesn't work really well. He literally hires his superior with a very straightforward condition, that to teach him the way to get stronger alone. The boy is truly a gold mine in Slumdog. The way he gets what he wants is radical, too. Unlike in several fighting shonen where the mysterious and powerful teachers seek for potential students, Genos seeks for potential in his teachers, something that's more relevant in reality where people have to strive hard for themselves, rather than believing they are special and someone will discover them. Fuck no! To Genos, it was simply, I want to learn from this guy so I will pay him. Fair and square, with no delusional hope attached. After bringing a giant bag of whatever the hell he needs to function to Saitama's house, he didn't forget to slam a pile of cash right before his teacher's face after he got turned down. Obviously, Genos had prepared that just in case he got rejected, since he was aware that strong people probably don't want a burden lurking around them unless they have some benefit. Genos knows how the world works, huh? I kinda wonder how he gets that much money. He wasn't a hero by that time or something, so where the heck did he get that much? Maybe he worked as a contract soldier or something, I don't even know. Whatever. The point is, not only in studying, the guy was freaking attentive in almost everything. Okay, not everything, but being able to do housework so casually makes him way better than me already. I don't understand why he has to do housework. Like, man, he has already paid for the rental fees and maybe food too, since that a pile of cash was a hell lot. He can also hire one. Is that a form of disciplining oneself? Or did he just go DIY because it's more convenient to deal with everything in the house with the capabilities of a cyborg buddy? Perhaps he just had a great sense of duty and had a neat lifestyle. Well, he kinda looks neat and tidy. I won't be surprised if he practiced his living standard in Saitama's house. Godforsaken, not to mention someone who's lazy to clean the house like Saitama. We need that kind of help. Well, at least I do, but I'm not special enough to have such a cool student. Aside from what he does inside the house, he shows proper concern for what happens around the residential area too. Remember that there was a time when City Z was in the threat of elimination. In order for the city not to get destroyed, Genos had drained out his power trying to handle a mid-tier without informing or asking for Saitama's help. He probably didn't think his teacher was so serially strong that he could punch a meteor and make it shatter to pieces. Alright, that was one weird occasion I have to admit. It's not every day that you can see someone trying to punch a meteor. Even with all the coolness, Genos had a major issue. He is too serious that he isn't even trying to be amiable. Not one piece of friendliness seems to matter much for him. How he handled the guests with enthusiasm also showed his austerely territorial personality. When I said enthusiasm, I mean the enthusiasm to keep them outside of the house. Maybe he got used to living in a quiet place with his teacher and very few neighbors around. Doesn't react so well with the visitation of others. If the guest is someone like Sonic, I like Sonic, but damn, the dude is annoying. Then it's understandable why he wants to chase him away. However, for individuals with well-built reputation and well-intentioned attitudes like Bang, I don't see the point of inviting them out of the place. Like what, bruh? You don't want your teacher to expand his network or something? With Saitama's friends being S-class hero, it will be more convenient for him to build his own status. It's possible that he saw Saitama frequently got himself out of too many social shenanigans and decided to be a gatekeeper to his teacher associations. My 2 cent take is that Genos' ideal image of a fighter which he sees in Saitama affects his attitude to others, and he acts in a way that can preserve his teacher's high standard. Since there are similarities between Saitama and his ideal image of hero sorta call it, why they don't need to seek fame and wealthy, but only fight for the fighting spirit and justice alone. This is low-key accurate since at the moment when Saitama gets excited, it's usually about potential serious fight or discount event at the supermarket. We cannot be mad at Genos for not being a social person. While most adolescents at his age are enjoying their lives and start exploring the complexity of this mankind, he has already spent years with a modified body, helping Dr. Kusino to repay his kindness, lamenting his past while hunting down his own enemy. You know what? I'm just gonna summarize this in 20 words. Genos' attachment to Saitama is a mechanism to his lack of parental figure family in his childhood. Despite being cold and aloof to strangers, he's actually quite sweet and cares for the safeties as a result of his deep empathy for those whose lives are disturbed by monsters. He fights, so people won't become like him. When he first met Saitama, he warned him to evacuate and got warned back. He also saved a little girl from the acid bath, but it can be explained as this. He pushes people who don't have the capabilities to fight monsters aside so he can deal with this battle by himself. He's a nice guy with a hell lot of obliviousness to socialization in general. Wow, his justice is kinda lonely, but then that's a one point of what his dynamic with his teacher is about, cyber rediscovering humanistic feelings. Despite his rather loud personality, he's actually quite thoughtful and has a great composure of himself. His toughness from the outside kinda covers his softer qualities. His edgy personality might be a result of his tough childhood with very limited association to the other people. Since the boy suffered a severe trauma in the past, his mentality was pushed into nearly maturity. Well, not exactly maturity, since he still has quirky characteristics of a late teenager who hasn't experienced enough with the huge society. Still, Genos had a very decent EQ for someone who's pretty hard-boiled mindset. In a sincere manner, he cares more for Saitama's feeling and well-being more than Saitama cares about his own feeling, most likely because Saitama doesn't really feel much except for boredom. For example, the guy avoids letting his teacher read letters from anti-fans. Moreover, his sense of self-reliance also makes him rarely seek Saitama's support but handle problems on his own as a form of improving his independence. He frequently tracks his teacher performance in battle to assist him because he knows Saitama attracts strong opponent who can fight with and buy time for his teacher to approach the final boss. From some of his rant, we can see that Genos has a lot to share but doesn't usually talk much about his issues unless he asks, mostly because Saitama told him to shorten his speech to a maximum of 20 words. He can also be quite laconic in critical conditions, ask quickly without the need to tell others what he will do later on. It seems that Genos' patience can be quite low, and unless it's someone who really adore, the guy won't waste his time being chatty. And the last, loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Oh my gosh, I like loyal people so much I have to highlight that attribute by repeating it several times. This mechanical Mori Ramuru has worn his dedication on the right person. Unsurprisingly, how Genos initially views Saitama in the first place is kinda correct. While it's true that Saitama has a liking for money and status, those desires are faint and dark that's quickly with very shallow regret. The truly deep desire of Saitama links tightly to his original motivation to become a hero. He fights monsters because he wants and he feels like he needs to. This is why he didn't waste time explaining himself when he punched a meteor when people accused him of ruining their homes, and left the credits of defeating Deep Sea King to other heroes. With his head up high, he accepts his unfair infamy and puts it aside, and ends exactly how Genos viewed him, the lonely hero with his own path. In the scene where Saitama claimed himself to earn credit for the other heroes who had contributed in weakening Deep Sea King, although Genos knew the truth was the monster in fact still has overwhelming strength, remained while facing Saitama. He also got to see the ridiculous bashful attitudes, the public deity as his teacher, and soar his loyalty to his teacher. Who needs adoration from strangers while Saitama had the adoration of one of the coolest cyborgs in the OPM universe? I know, the story is a bit exaggerated because the public and OPM can be really dumb and easily manipulated sometimes, but come on, who would believe Saitama actually intended to steal credits from others when he was the one who declared that himself loudly so others could hear? Sometimes, believe us way so easily is a need to get oneself mingled in the mass, which is probably why some people seclude themselves and practice their own ways. Who knows, one day they might become stronger than ever. There you go, guys. I'm done with my rant. I'll just summarize what had been said in a short sentence, Saitama style. Genos is one of the best students in manga anime. Next time, I will ramble on how Saitama becomes a great teacher day by day. Thank you for watching this video of We Know Anime. We will see you next time.